recording this session so that you can watch it later also. I'll just upload it on YouTube and I'll give the link with you guys. So to others who are from AU Women's, AU MCA, people who have not met me earlier, guys, I'm Suraj Chawla. I am, as I introduce also always, I'm the unfortunate CEO of Apex. So unfortunate, that's a long story. We'll discuss about that because I always love teaching more than sitting in this chair and administrating an office. So Apex is an institute. I do not know how many of you had heard about Apex earlier. So we started our journey in Vizag in the year 2016. I moved to Vizag in the year 2012 ending. So that was the time I was working with Condira/Career Launcher as a center manager in Visakhapatnam. And then till 2016 beginning, I quit because I wanted to have an institute where I can teach the way I always wanted to. And I always wanted to have a focused batch, so that is when I started Apex. So the fundamental or the foundation stone of Apex is simple that we take only 100 students a year. So my vision was to have 100 strong students per CAT and train them and get the best possible results in Vizag. So that is how I started Apex in the year 2016. And I've always had this question that will you be able to limit to 100 students? And thank God, we have been able to limit ourselves to 100 students. Anything more than 100, we say no. We say we are full. And so the journey has been great. So what is my relationship with Murthy sir? Murthy sir was then working with Anits. So that was when I got introduced to him. And since then we have been associated. So then we took 4 years. Then Murthy sir moved to SRKR College of Engineering. Then I started my CRT. So I always tell Murthy sir as my godfather to enter campus recruitment training, because when we say that we are masters of CAT, or when we say that we are the masters of aptitude, now that is when Murthy sir realized that okay, our aptitude is generally stronger than any campus recruitment training company which comes on any campus. And since 2016, I vaguely remember I have been associating with Murthy sir since then. And the relationship has been continuing. And recently, he just told me that he has joined AU, and I was like, wow, because I always felt that there are some people in this industry who do a lot for students, and Murthy sir happens to be one of them. And maybe that is one of the reasons I always align with Murthy sir also. And we just discussed day before yesterday, saying that why don't we have a small session for Infosys for AU students? And I right away agreed, because I know that the intent of Murthy sir has always been to help students, and so has mine been. And then I thought, why not AU? Because AU has been an area where I've seen that students come with strong aptitude command, right? So that is when I thought, okay, let us try to create a difference this time. Let us try to talk to students of Andhra University and see that if we can do a few workshops, if we can collaborate, or if I can give you my inputs on this. So since 2016, we have been training students for campus recruitment training. 2019 was the time I entered into the Infosys training. And trust me, guys, whichever colleges we have been getting amazing results in Infosys. Again, one major reason being Infosys is one exam where we have the least technical questions which are being asked. So generally, students of mechanical, civil, chemical, and other areas also, are able to find that job in Infosys. So we have been leaders in Infosys training as well. But yeah, since I said Apex is a non-commercial organization, I only tie up with very limited colleges. So in Visakhapatnam, I have a tie up with Gayatri Vidya Parishad. We have been doing with SRKR, but off late, my target has been to just focus on Visakhapatnam-based colleges, because I don't want to waste my energies going out. So I want to create a different environment in Visakhapatnam for all the students, maybe Andhra University, maybe Vignan and other areas. So let's see how does that go. So this is a brief about me, guys, and Apex. So we are still 100 students strong in CAT, and thank God, in 6 years we have been able to create a supremacy in Visakhapatnam. In CAT, I think we are currently unbeatable. We have the best results in Visakhapatnam, and our classroom pedagogy is like one of the best at an all India level. And just to tell you, Apex is a team of teachers who are madly, deeply in love with teaching. As I told, I love teaching more than administrating. So this is a brief about me. Guys who are joining, please mute yourself, or I'll just try to mute from my end. Yeah, so let me just share my PPT with you. Great. And request not to switch on your cameras, preferably, because the internet bandwidth will again, your internet bandwidth will get choked in case you're watching from your laptop. Okay. Now, uh, to get started with today's session. So today the whole agenda is, I think in the month of August, you have two important companies coming in. One is Infosys and one is TCS. Now I have got the examination pattern of both the companies, but let me tell you why are these two companies important for anybody. Now I always tell this to my students that always have a backup before a breakup. Sounds very funny, but your backup should be strong. And I feel that as an engineering student, when IT companies come and recruit all the engineers, you should definitely have a strong backup called campus placements. So you should have a campus placement because a strong backup gives us one sec. Yeah, yeah. So strong backup, helps us to take good decisions in careers. If you remember, I met you in the first year and I also told you how to work towards a strong profile. And when I met a few of your batchmates for CAT who are preparing with me, I was really happy with them, that they have literally groomed themselves in the right possible manner. So I'll also talk to your principal, sir, to ensure that, I come for an orientation every year, try to orient students and try to give them an idea as to what they should do so that they have multiple options when they are graduating. Now, most of you, I'm sure, would be thinking of GATE, would be also thinking of going abroad, GRE. Some of you might be thinking of CAT, and a lot of you might be thinking of only campus placements. My advice is simple, guys. You should rather explore multiple options, right? So campus placement is one very strong thing that you should definitely have. Hold it with you, and then we see whether we can achieve our dream or not. So what happens? Let's say you're preparing for CAT, and by chance, let's say you're not getting into a dream college of yours. Now, a strong campus placement helps you to join a company, not have an academic break, can simultaneously prepare, and maybe next year make it to a big college of your choice. Right. So why Infosys and TCS? Because these are two exams which have started. Oh, one second. One second, guys. I have to disable annotation. Yeah. I thought we are used to use Zoom, but some of you are not. Okay. So why TCS and Infosys? Because these are two very reputed companies. Point number one. Point number two, if you are from a non-CSE background, also this becomes a very easy exam to enter. Both these companies, okay, Infosys in fact is a company which tests you the least on the technical part. So my advice to especially the non-techie people, because see, CSE students anyway, when they're good at the programming languages, they also have multiple doors open because Accenture has an aptitude test followed by a technical test. You can get through it. Cognizant, right? And a lot of other colleges, companies which test you on the programming language skills and aptitude both. But when I say that I'm from a, or when I say I'm from a background called CSE also, and I'm not interested in coding, no problem. Infosys still gives you a platform to clear their tests. It has the least amount of coding which is involved. You just need to know basic C++ and Java. Your job will be done there, and you hardly have 5 questions coming up from the technical side. Okay, so aptitude is at the highest possible levels. You can clear with the help of aptitude. But when I say aptitude, please be very clear. Aptitude involves all the 3 sections. I'm talking about verbal ability. I'm talking about quantitative ability. It's not called quantitative aptitude. It's called quantitative ability. And point number 3, it is logical reasoning and data interpretation skills. Right. So these 3 are tested at a good level. Now, the beautiful part with Infosys and TCS is the quality of questions are also amazing. I mean, when I saw the paper for the first time in 2019, I was like, whoa, this is a challenging paper, even for a student who's aspiring for CAT. Okay, so not a very difficult paper too, but yeah, the quality of questions are really important and really good. TCS has innovated themselves a lot, and Infosys is anyway amazing. Right from the beginning, I believe Infosys test was assumed to be one of the toughest tests to clear. Right now, how do I clear aptitude before I start the session? Now, aptitude, trust me, guys, It's more about consistency or consistent practice and less about technical knowledge, right? So I always tell this to my students, aptitude is more about being in a flow. If I'm consistently preparing, you'll realize that, okay, in the exam, your speed is definitely going to be high. Now we are sitting on July 21st. I requested Murthy sir to start as early as possible. Reason being, I'm assuming that students of AU do not have too much of an exposure towards campus placements or aptitude tests and all, right? So 21st, and if I'm not wrong, maybe August 6th is when you have Infosys training examination. And maybe August 16th, if I'm not wrong, you have TCS examination. Okay. Dates might vary. I'm not very sure, but yeah, I think this is what I can say to the best of my knowledge. So when I'm looking at good 10 to 15 days of preparation, the best thing that we all are good at is one night batting. Now, one night batting helps in college examinations, but one night batting, trust me, does not help in aptitude. So if you are strong at aptitude, which I see a lot of AU students are, okay, be it any AU student, they generally come with a good holdover aptitude skills. Okay, so this 10 to 15 days, if we are able to practice consistently, our chances of getting into these companies become 100%. Right? Be it TCS, be it Infosys. I'll also orient you regarding that. Okay. So trust me, guys, if you are strong at aptitude, which I again repeat, I believe AU students are, if you focus on these examinations, it should not stop you from getting into a company, which is a reputed company like Infosys and TCS. One more motivation to join Infosys. Anybody who can give me one more motivation to join Infosys? You can unmute and speak as well. What's a very strong motivation to join Infosys now? Maybe that development has happened in last 1 month or 2 months. Anybody who's updated with what's happening in Infosys?
It's coming to Isaac.
Exactly right. So Infosys is launching its office in Visakhapatnam. That was in news long back. And I have a student who's preparing for CAT. I don't know from which college, but yeah, he's working with Infosys. And he told that, Infosys had taken a survey inside their company saying that, are you from Visakhapatnam or not? If they are from Visakhapatnam, they are not trying to ask the students from Visakhapatnam to come back to Hyderabad. So what does that mean? If Infosys pays you a 3.5 lakhs per annum job, the complete money is in your pocket, right? And you still get your bedtime tea from your mom or dad, and you are the same place, and you get the best exposure in the companies. And I asked for this student. He was telling me that Infosys might start the office within next 1 or 2 months. Okay, so in case you are a person who feels that you have a bigger dream and you want to prepare for GATE and CAT and other exams also, going out of Vizag might take off a lot of your energies in terms of food, stay, and everything. And in case you want to stay back in Vizag and prepare at the comfort of your home, nothing better than that, then Infosys becomes one lovely company which you can target now. And I'm sure, or if I'm not wrong, Infosys might try to hire a good number of students from Visakhapatnam because they have an office in Visakhapatnam. So that relieves their job as well. Their stress also here. And attrition becomes low when you are in your hometown. Right. So that's one more motivation why we should target at Infosys. Now, point number 3. I personally, or Murthy sir personally, we are people who always follow results, who always love helping students. Okay. So I would not be surprised when Murthy sir says that they have 1400 eligible students for 1400 plus eligible students from the complete AU fraternity to clear these, to write these examinations. Guys, why not create a record? Why not show Infosys for the first time that, yeah, I mean, AU has, because I've been tracking numbers of AU in Infosys clearance until last year, the numbers have been abysmally low. I would not say because of the quality of students, I would say because of the awareness levels. And that's the first initiative that Murthy sir and I have started taking, or your college or your management has started taking, that why not start investing a bit on training or orienting students on how to clear these tests so that you get a direction in next 10 to 15 days and see that you're clearing these tests. Second important point, guys, when you clear the written test, the chances of converting your interview is 90% higher. I'll give you one more motivation to students who feel you're not having too much of communication skills. The talk in the IT companies are, they're not stressing too much on your communication skills because they're hiring you for a programming job. They will train you on the programming language, right? So in the interview also, if your communications are decent enough, where you're just able to talk, communicate, tell about yourself, okay, I think that's enough for you to clear the interview of Infosys. Close to 90% of students who clear the written test convert Infosys interviews, right? You'll just perform decently well in the interview. So that's it, guys. So I think we should be gearing up for all these things without wasting too much of time, because we have hardly 3 hours or so to study. Let's see how much can you handle me, or how much can you handle the torture. I'll try my best to minimize the torture as much as possible. But yeah, I've tried to bring questions from 3 different areas. We'll try to cover them up. Uh, so what does Apex expertise in Infosys? So we have collected last many years of papers. So we have a program where we also give students. We have a course with us. Okay, we have a program where you also have all the CRT chapter-wise videos. Okay, and we also have collection of all last year's Infosys questions, and that is where we realize how important the questions are. We have a collection of 10 to 12 mocks that a student can write based on Infosys pattern, clear? And then all this collection, these hot questions to solve is what you get. And these are, trust me, these are all like the original questions. And we have video recordings of all these workshops. A small part of that is what I'll discuss with you today. Okay, so and then you also have topic wise tests to solve. So let's see after this session, how do we work on this? So topic wise tests are also available with us, and we'll see how do we go ahead with that. But the idea is simple. We have collection of Infosys questions, and this workshop I have brought all the previous Infosys questions for you to understand what is the level of questions. Okay, what is the amount of practice you need? And I'm trying to cover up all the sections except verbal ability because of the paucity of time right now. Okay, so any feedbacks, any inputs before we start, or any expectations before we start? So we still have 450 students, which is a good number. I would advise you to ask your friends to come join. Don't wait for a YouTube session here, because I'll give you one more hint. This is recorded in internet on the net. There might be a bit of glitches, and there's nothing better than a live training here. Than so guys who missed because of offline classes, I do understand for them. But in case your friends are whiling away at home or relaxing at home, just drop a message. Trust me, next 2.5 hours, I assure you are going to be very good, very interesting. In short, kick-ass session is what I would be trying to work towards too. So any expectations before we start? Any feedbacks for me, or shall we directly start? You can use your chat box, or you can also unmute and speak. No, you guys don't speak? Fair enough. Let's get started then. So first slide, I've made it on the pattern of Infosys. Understand the pattern. The first thing that a student should do, right? Tell this to my CAT students also. Okay. The first mistake that a student commits is does not understand the syllabus of the exam. So my first advice to everybody is simple: know the pattern is the first important thing. And then point number 2, know the syllabus. This is very important because this is what helps us to clear the exam. This does 40% of your job, guys. This I tell this to my CAT students also. Okay. So the beautiful part with Infosys is they have a 5-sectional test. Okay. Can you tell us about verbal? Yeah, I'll discuss that. Don't worry. I have complete slide. Don't worry. So just change your name to your actual name. It's just written V there. Okay. So that I can address you. Now, so the pattern of Infosys is something like this, guys. It is completely based on 5 sections. So reasoning ability. Okay. Then you have mathematical ability, which is quantitative ability. You have verbal ability, 20 questions in 20 minutes. Now understand here. One thing to focus is the time that is given to each section. You should be able to understand what is the importance of those. So 15 questions, 25 minutes, which means it's relatively difficult. Now 10 questions, 35 minutes, which means it's going to be slightly more difficult. Okay, I'll tell you what makes it difficult as well. Now in verbal ability, when I see there are 20 questions in 20 minutes, trust me, if you're good at verbal ability, this exam becomes a cakewalk. But if you're not good at verbal ability also, how do we see that, we are still clearing the test? Okay. Now, the best part is pseudo code. Now, pseudo code are only 5 simple questions on your programming languages. I'm sure all of you are introduced to pseudo code. If not, our program also has recordings on pseudo code. Don't worry. For pseudocode, you just need the basic understanding of C, C++, and Java. Mostly the questions are given on these languages only. Okay, so 5 simple questions on pseudocodes, but 2 marks per question. So 10 minutes for 5 questions. And one more lovely area that they have started is, 4 questions on puzzle solving. Now, this created ruckus in the first year, 2019. They introduced this. Okay, this created a lot of hue and cry saying that nobody knows what is this. But the best part is it's more about number series. It's more about pseudocode and random questions which you can expect. I mean, the word itself says you have puzzle solving. It is for 10 minutes and the marks vary. Some questions are 1 mark, some questions are tough, which are 3-mark questions. So you get only 4 questions there. Okay. So the total exam would consist of 54 questions and it has a time limit of 100 minutes. Right. So as you see, even if you're not very strong at verbal ability, these 15, these 10, these 5, and these 4, if you're still clearing these, you still have a 80% probability of converting. Verbal ability, next 15 days, we'll work on it. Assuming that our verbal ability skills are not very great, we'll work on that for next 15 days. In my next slide, I have what all things are asked. I've got syllabus for you. So I have what all things are asked in verbal ability. So we'll note them down. And what we will do is we will start preparing on those things slowly. Right. So this is what we have completely in Infosys. Understand the pattern. Reasoning might not be very difficult. I'll also discuss what are the questions which come up in reasoning and so on and so on and so on. Right. Now, let's understand the syllabus also first. Now, when I talk about my syllabus, now this is my complete syllabus that I'm talking about, except pseudocode. As I told you, C, C++, and Java. Right. So the complete syllabus is this only. So you have reasoning ability. In reasoning ability, you have data sufficiency. I have some data sufficiency questions today. Do not worry. You have data interpretation. I have one DI set for your class today. You have logical deduction and syllogism. This is one area which is very important. Okay. Then you have certain questions on statistics, mean, median, mode. I'm sure you guys are very good at. Okay. And then you have data arrangement, which is like a logical reasoning question on maybe series or maybe arrangements or maybe puzzles and so on, so on, so on. Okay. All these 5. Now, when it comes to mathematical ability, crypt arithmetic, it's something like that, A, B, C plus, let's say B, C, A is equal to this, where A, B, and C are representing digits from 0 to 9. So that is called crypt arithmetic. You have number series, which is either in reasoning or in quant. You can as well take in both of them. You have ratio proportions. You have percentages and profit and loss. I did not write percentage. You have percentage and profit and loss. You have time, speed, and distance, and time and work. Okay. You have PNC and probability. I'm sure you guys are good at this. You have partnerships, you have averages, you have algebra, and you have simplification. This comes in mathematical ability. Now, when it comes to verbal ability, you have critical reasoning. You have sentence correction, right? Which is English sentence correction. Now, you have English corrective usage. So generally 5 questions come from here. Clear? So one easy part you can look at is RCs are not generally difficult. You have 5 questions coming from RC. You can clear RC questions. You can practice RC a bit, clear RC questions. Okay, 5 plus 5 is 10. Now, from critical reasoning and corrective usage together, you can expect 5 questions coming up in the examination. You have 5 questions on error correction and you have 5 questions on error identification. Now, this is the breakup of 20 questions in verbal ability. Now, that makes the job pretty easy as well. So I know that, okay, I work on English error correction. I will be able to solve 2 to 3 out of 5. So your job is to see that you're just practicing as many questions as possible and then move on towards it. So practice reading comprehension, very basic level RCs come. If you're able to clear that up, 5 questions is what you get as a bonus, right? So this is what comes in verbal ability. Somebody with the name V who asked me about verbal ability. This is all about verbal. So you can note it down or you can take a screenshot and you can start preparing on this. Now puzzles has number-based patterns. So they give you something like this, they give you a block and they give you different numbers and they give you a question mark here. And they ask you what will come on the question mark. Okay, so that's number puzzles. You have visual reasoning. I'm sure we are good at non-verbal reasoning. So the pattern of images which is given. So you have some word puzzles, you have Sudoku, you have grid-based puzzles and all. 4 questions come and trust me guys, if you are able to apply basic reasoning skills, you should be able to solve 2 to 3 easily within time question. Okay. So now what comes up in the 15 questions of, let me go back to the previous slide. Is this clear guys? Please type a Y on the chat box. Is this clear? Great. So take a screenshot of the syllabus, okay? Now I'll tell you what all comes in the pattern of the questions, okay? This is very important. Now, it's slightly confusing, you know. In reasoning, in last 3 years, I have seen, note this down very importantly, if you are good at syllogisms and logical deduction, okay? If you are good at syllogisms and logical deduction, you generally get 5 questions from syllogisms, which comes under reasoning ability. Perfectly fine. Now, the next part of 5 questions are basically divided on data sufficiency. Now, data sufficiency has 2 components. They give you data sufficiency quant based, they give you data sufficiency LR based. Together mixed, they give you 5 questions. Now, when they say reasoning ability, the third, which is a slightly shocking part, is they give you data interpretation and they give you 5 questions. Why do I say shocking? Because data interpretation does not fall under reasoning. If I rather consider data interpretation, that comes under mathematical ability, but you can expect 3 to 5 questions coming up in data interpretation coming up from here. Clear? So the number of questions might slightly vary, but over a period of time, we have seen these are the 3 areas from where the questions come up in reasoning ability area. They might increase slightly. Data sufficiency questions give you a lesser data interpretation questions. Okay. The question paper changes from every student to student. Even if the question paper does not change, let me give you a pre-warning. The order in which the options are also arranged changes from person to person. I hope you're understanding where I'm moving. So please be careful with those things. Right. Now, when I say mathematical ability is further divided into 2 parts. This is what I've seen. The quantitative ability questions, you generally see 5 questions. Now there's one strong logical reasoning set, a big set, which I have seen over a period of time is a difficult set. I would say this comes close to cat level of LR. Okay, close to cat level of LR. That's why please understand you are given 35 minutes for 10 questions. It is fine to expect a difficult question. Now, please understand, guys, in aptitude, what do I mean by difficult question? Difficult question takes a little more time than an easy question. I just slightly make it a bit complicated, but that doesn't mean you need a technical question. See, understand, difficult question of your college exams is different from difficult question of aptitude. In any aptitude examination, if I'm talking about difficult question, right? Let's say for an easy question, the time taken is X minutes. For a difficult question, the time taken is X plus K minutes. Nothing more yet. Okay. Now, so don't get daunted by the fact that, or don't get afraid by the fact that shit, it's a difficult question. No, it's not a difficult question. Difficult question means it might take a good 15 to 20 minutes. Now, do you have a mental ability to handle a DI or a reasoning set for 20 minutes? To me, a best way to strategize this is if you are super good in quant, your 5 questions can be cleared in 5 minutes or maximum 10 minutes in quant here. Because out of those 5, you know, one good sign for you guys is arithmetic, you hardly get 2 to 3 questions, but you get 2 questions coming up from PNC and probability. I'm sure that students from Andhra University are good at permutations and combinations. And basic questions, not very difficult questions. So 2 to 3 questions come from PNC, 2 to 3 questions come from arithmetic, and then the remaining 4 to 5 questions are given from logical reasoning set, which is a very good set. And I repeat, anywhere around 15 to 20 minutes is a good time spent. So when you're taking the paper, if it's taking more time, don't get afraid. Okay, do not get daunted by it. Just start taking the test. Now, what is one more beautiful thing which is seen in Infosys is, out of those 5 questions, so the pattern is something like this. Question number 1 might be a reasoning set, right? Question number 2, because they have this software of jumbling questions. So I've seen that slightly weird part in Infosys. Question number 2 might be a QA question. Then question number 3 again comes from the same reasoning set, question number 2. So that might be jumbled. So don't get afraid of it. You are given questions. Tell yourself you have good time and then you move on those lines. I already told you what comes in verbal ability. 4 areas: critical reasoning plus usage, right? Corrective usage, which is fill in the blank and all. Then you have error correction. Then you have error identification, and you have logic, and you have reading comprehension. Okay. So this is in depth about it. This is how you should be planning to write the exam also. So when you're writing the exam, your orientation should be very clear. You should be crystal clear about how the exam pattern is. Am I clear to all the 450 students in the class? Exam pattern syllabus. When I say, am I clear? I expect a Y or N on the chat box. Okay. My chat box is open right in front of me. Do not worry. I'm used to handling 1,000 students in a class. So don't worry about your doubts. You have doubts, you can randomly type as well. Great, guys. Right. So as I told in the beginning of the session, I have got questions from the reasoning ability part, not the syllogisms, and I've got some questions from mathematical ability part. Let's try to do this. We'll try to have one more workshop sometime next week, which will also cover certain questions on verbal ability and all. Let's see how does the time permit. Now, next comes is TCS pattern. Now, for most of you, let me tell you what is the beautiful part about TCS. Have you heard about this thing called ION digital centers? There's something called ION digital centers. So these are the centers which are owned by TCS. Okay. Now, why did this own these centers at an all India level? Because TCS is now the examination conducting body for almost all the examinations. You talk about bank PO, you talk about gate, all these are conducted via TCS server only. To your surprise, even CAT questions, even CAT is being conducted by TCS only, right? And I'm not very sure does the examining body submit the questions or TCS makes the question. But after that year, I have seen a sudden jump in the level of questions in TCS examination. Okay, so the kind of questions you can expect are good quality questions. And I would say they are very close to the exam like CAT. So you can expect, let's say if I divide questions into level 1, level 2, and level 3. If I define CAT falls under this category, level 2 and level 3. TCS questions fall under level 1 and level 2, and majority of them fall under level 2. In CAT, what happens? You get out of let's say 22, you get 2 to 3 level 1 questions, 6 to 8 level 2 questions, or let's 8 maybe 10 to 12 level 2 questions, and maybe certain level 3 questions. That's the beautiful part about CAT. In TCS, you will expect level 1 questions and level 2 questions. Now, this is the examination pattern given to me by one of the colleges. I was informed that TCS has changed their examination pattern. So this is the examination pattern which is happening this year. Okay, so I'll also ask Murthy sir to brief you guys up in case if there's slightly change, because recently I got this examination pattern by one of the colleges. We do company specific training as well. Okay, now in TCS, this is a new pattern. In case you are not good at advanced coding, don't worry. Advanced coding is for people for a higher package. TCS Digital is a profile which is given at a 6 or 6.5 lakhs per annum job. So if you're not good at advanced coding, no problem. You can ignore advanced coding. Okay. At the same time, you can clear the remaining part of the test, and you will be given a call accordingly in the exam by the TCS company altogether. Okay. So this is a pattern again: reasoning, numerical, and verbal ability. Now, why did they merge? Because till last year, they used to conduct a separate exam for this profile called TCS Digital. Now, TCS Digital I had seen had really good level questions which come under advanced quant ability and advanced reasoning ability. Now, this year, what they have done is that there is no TCS Digital as a separate examination. They're trying to simplify their processes. So there's only one examination. If you are good at coding, then you are already qualifying as a TCS Digital student. And if you're not good at that part, then you're given marks on the basis of your remaining sections. So they have two packages, I guess. One is 3.56, if I'm not wrong, and second is 6.5 something or 6 lakh something. So this is the complete pattern, but syllabus remains the more or less the same. In fact, a little more exhaustive. You have to cover up the complete aptitude syllabus for TCS examination. And dates which have been informed to me are, I guess, August 16th is when your TCS exam is going to happen. Clear? So this is about the examination pattern of both the exams, right? So let's quickly get into problem solving. What I'll do is I'll float a question. Okay, you'll have 1 or 2 minutes to solve. Take your time for 1 to 2 minutes, solve it, and then we discuss the question. So from now on, I have close to 26 slides. Okay, and we have different types of questions. We'll try to solve as much as possible, and we'll see how quickly do we complete. I'm expecting to have a very lovely session with AU students, right? So just be active, take out your pen and paper, look at the question, take 2 minutes, solve the question, and then we'll discuss the question. Clear? And all these questions have been picked up from last 3 years of Infosys examination. Clear? So I have data sufficiency with me next. which is quant-based DS, will first learn the approach also, and will also learn how to solve these questions. Right? They're slightly tricky. They're not difficult, but they're tricky. So your first question is on the screen now. Take 2 minutes. I'll switch off the camera for 2 minutes. I switch on the camera, and then we'll discuss the question altogether. Right, guys? So let's get started. Yep. Yeah, you can send the options to me, guys, no problem. Or you can send to everyone, no issues. Surya says A, Swati says A. Okay, everybody's saying A. Wow, okay. I'm seeing somebody saying, most of you are saying A. One person has said C. Some of you have said D. Some of them are saying C now. Okay. Last 30 seconds. Okay. Praveen says E. Chandana says E. Oppo. Please change your name here. A5S. You have said E. So 3 E's. Okay. Glad. Rutvik. Yeah. Now people are increasing with E's. Okay. Time's up, guys. Surprising. A very minor section of the class has given option E. I think the answer is option E. As I told you, in data sufficiency, following the rules is very important. Let's understand the rules of data sufficiency. Data sufficiency is something like this. You are given a question statement. Okay. Then with question statement, you are given two more statements. Now, how should your approach be? Your approach should be, you first read the question statement plus statement 1. Okay. You have to read question statement and statement 1, and then you try to solve. There is a possibility you might get the answer. There's a possibility you might not get the answer. Hold. Your job is not done yet. Right now, what is the difficult part in data sufficiency? Your next approach should be, you have to then read question statement and only statement 2, which means you have to erase off statement 1 from your mind. F5 kotalama. F5 kotale. Please remember that. Because once we have statement 1 chesamo, once we have done statement 1, human mind says some part of hangover continues. Okay. ఆ పూర్తిగా మర్చిపోవాలి. ఇక్కడ ఏంటి మీరు చేశారు పూర్తిగా మర్చిపోవాలి. సో దెన్ యూ హావ్ టు రీడ్ ఓన్లీ క్వశ్చన్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అండ్ ఓన్లీ స్టేట్మెంట్ 2. అక్కడ ఏంటి పాసిబిలిటీ ఉంది, యూ మైట్ గెట్ ద ఆన్సర్, యూ మైట్ నాట్ గెట్ ద ఆన్సర్. సో వాట్ ఆర్ మై కాంబినేషన్స్? విత్ స్టేట్మెంట్ 1 యూ మైట్ గెట్, with statement 2 you might get or you might not get. Okay, with statement 1 you might not get, statement 2 you might get, you might not get. 4 options unnai kada. So let me write, this is tick and a cross, one option you got with statement 1, you did not get with statement 2. Cross and a tick is second option, a tick and a tick is a third option, a cross and a cross is a fourth option. These are 4 possible outcomes you will get for a question on data sufficiency. If you get 1 and not 2, then only 1 is sufficient to answer the examination. According to these options, option A. Please remember, in Infosys examination, these options are also jumbled. So read the options carefully. With statement 1 alone and not statement 2, means only statement 1 is sufficient. With statement 2 alone and not statement 1, which means only statement 2 is sufficient. Clear? Right? Now, I can answer with the help of statement 1 independently, and I can answer with the help of statement 2 independently. As per this is option D. Clear? Now, if I did not get the answer by both of them, now my job is to merge, which means now what I will do, I will read question statement with statement 1 and statement 2. I will combine all the 3 and I will try to get my answers. Okay. If I get my answer here, then according to this, my answer is option C. If I further did not get my answer here, which means my answer is option E. Is this point very clear? How to attack a data sufficiency question? I will only club if I did not get with statement 1 and statement 2 individually. Is this point very clear? Please type a Y on the chat box. Once the approach is clear, then it's about maths or reasoning. Great. Once this approach is clear, guys, now it's about your technical ability to solve the questions. Okay. Now, what does the technical ability say? This question falls under ratios. Now, a common mistake students commit in their life. Whenever ratio is given, I'm just giving a small brief about ratios. Okay. Whenever ratios is given, students assume that dogs are 3 and cats are 2. This is completely wrong. Ratio is always a comparative term. So from ratio to actual value, I'm not teaching a ratios chapter, but just giving you a hint because most of you give the wrong answer. From ratio to actual value is nothing, but if ratio is 3:2, the actual values I have to assume are 3x and 2x respectively. There has to be a common number multiplied to both of them. For one simple reason, if I say 15 and 20 are the numbers, I write this as 5 into 3 and I write this as 5 into 4. Please understand, 5 is getting cancelled because ratio is expressed in the most simplified form. Clear, guys? So 3x and 2x are my numbers. This is what question statement says. Okay. Now, most of you, where did you go wrong? If the number of cats were to double, if I double the number of cats, what are my actual number of cats then? 4x. Clear? What are my actual number of dogs? 3x. And the question says the ratio is 3:4. Now, please understand, if the ratio is 3:4, which means can I say I have 3x cats and 4x dogs? If I have 3x cats and 4x dogs, can I determine how many dogs or how many cats are there? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Type on the chat box, please. I'll have infinite values, no? Perfect. I'll have infinite values because simple logic. If you are still having a doubt, let's assume 3 dogs and 2 cats. I double. This becomes 3 and 4. 3 is to 4. Parvaledamma. Okay. Let's say 3 is to 2 kavali kada. 3 is to 2 lo we can also write 6 cats, 6 dogs and 4 cats. 6 and 4 is also in the ratio of 3 is to 2. Now we are doubling my cats. If I'm doubling my cat, this becomes how much? 6 is to 8, which is again nothing but 3 is to 4. So when I have 3x and 4x, please understand how many values I'll have. I'll have infinite values. If I'm going to have infinite values, which means I cannot answer my question with the help of statement 1 alone. And a lot of you gave me option A as the answer. Is this point clear? Quick responses. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. Okay. Now I repeat, your job is to refresh your memory, which means forget whatever you have solved till now. Okay. So when I go to statement 2, so I repeat, from statement 1, we did not get the answer. Now, when I go to statement 2, I have only this much with me. That question statement says 3x and 2x. Come back here, guys. Okay. Now, only statement 2 is what we will see. If 3 cats were added, there would be more cats than dogs, which means 3 cats are added. So 3x, and this is 2x plus 3. Okay. Then it's saying that 3x is less than 2x plus 3. Fair enough. And we need to understand that cats and dogs are numerical integers, non-decimal values. Let's try. If x value 1 తీసుకుంటాం నాన్న. Okay. X value 1 తీసుకుంటే ఏంటి వస్తాయి మనకి 3 వస్తుంది 5 వస్తుంది, which is perfect. More cats than dogs. Can x be equal to 2? Of course, yes. If I take x is equal to 2, this is 6. 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 3 is 7. More cats than dogs. This is acceptable. This is acceptable. Can I take x is equal to 3? 3 3s are 9. 2 3s are 6. 6 plus 3 is equal to 9. They are equal. This is not acceptable. Now, after this, you will see dogs are increasing, cats are reducing. Okay. If I take x is equal to 4, 3 4s are 12, and this becomes 11. Now, 12 is greater than 11. So, after this, none of the values will satisfy. Is this point clear? Which means statement 2 is telling me that the number of dogs, x is equal to 1, the number of dogs are 3, number of cats are 2, or x is equal to 2. I repeat, this is x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 2, which means 3 2s are 6 and 2 2s are 4. So statement 2 is giving me these two possible combinations. Is this point clear with all of us? Quick responses, please. You should be ready with y and only in my class, okay? Great. So now tell me, can I answer my question with the help of statement 2 alone? Can I answer my question with the help of statement 2 alone? Exactly right. I cannot answer because I can have either 3 dogs and 2 cats or 6 dogs and 4 cats, which means statement 2 kuda is not helping me to get the answer. That means I have 2 crosses. See, 2 crosses means what? Option A is not my answer. Option B is not my answer. Option D is not my answer. Anybody giving me A, B, and D, you are wrong. Now only 2 options are open, option C and option E. First question slow ga veltamu, then we'll go fast, okay? This is where I tell you, data sufficiency is tricky. It's not difficult. Right? So I have only 2 options open. Now when I have 2 crosses here, only in that case, I will merge both of them. If you merge cheste enti ostadamma, merge cheste we got from statement 2, we got this as the possible values. Statement 1 use చేసుకుంటాం, statement 1 కూడా వాడుకోవచ్చు. I'm merging both of them. So 1 and 2 both we will use. So I have to double my number of cats. అయితే dogs 3 అవుతాయి, cats 4 అయిపోతాయి. 3 is to 4 acceptable. Dogs 6 outai, cats 8 outai. This is also in the ratio of 3 is to 4 acceptable, which means even after clubbing both of them, I have 2 possible combination. Can I tell how many dogs are there in the pet store? Definitely not, which means by clubbing both of them also, I did not get my answer. If by clubbing both of them also did not get my answer becomes option E. So E is the correct answer, which was given by hardly 8 to 10 students in a class of 447. Good morning, AU. Wake up, please. Clear how to approach a data sufficiency question? I repeat, they are not difficult, but they are tricky. Approach is important. You can't assume values. When I say ratio is 3:2, always understand they can have infinite values. They can be 3 and 2. They can be 6 and 4. Simple. 3x and 2x. X is equal to 1, 3, 2. X is equal to 2, 6, 4. X is equal to 3, 9 and 6. X is equal to 4, 12 and 8. Alaga infinite values aipotai nana. There will be infinite values. Right? So when you're given ratio, don't commit the mistake of assuming 3 and 2 and go ahead and solve the answer. So this is from ratios point of view. Clear, guys? Shall I move forward? So first question, a very good question. Let's start our second question. Okay. Take your time. Very interesting question and very easy also, not very difficult one. A lot of you are saying C, a lot of you are saying D, each can answer independently. Oh my God, okay. Both of them are required, fair enough. Only two is sufficient, okay. Let's see. Time's up, guys. Now this question says, so the rules remain the same. Two boxes of sweet are labeled A and B. I'm writing A here and B here. Okay. Which costs more? I didn't know the costs. Box A has 32 sweets of one kind and box B has 24 sweets of one kind. So number of sweets given to me is 32 here and 24 here. That means I do not know the price per sweet because I'm talking about the total cost. Okay. So statement one just tells me about the number of items. The statement one does not tell me about what is the cost per item, which means statement one information is not sufficient. I cannot answer with the help of statement one alone. First option is gone. At the same time, option D is also gone. Remember this. If the first statement is not giving you the answer, A and D, both of them are gone. People who are given D or A as the answer, is this point clear? Fair enough. Right. Now, let's go to only statement 2. Now, statement 2 says 6 suites of box B. Okay. So let's say each, let me write cost per suite. Okay. Is Y here and X here. Okay. Which means total cost becomes 32X and 24Y. Now let's see. I expected you guys to solve it well, but let's see. 6 suites of box B, that is 6 into Y, is greater than 8 suites of box A, 8 into X. Clear? Which means, can I say Y is greater than 4 by 3X? Clear? Now, if I'm saying Y is greater than 4 by 3X, which means Y is greater than X for sure. But if Y is greater than X, understand the question is asking which costs more. I do not know how many suites are there in each box. Statement 2. Statement 2, the scene is something like this. Let's say A suites here and B suites here. I do not know. Cost per suite is X here and Y here. And from statement 2, this is my conclusion. Now tell me, if this is my conclusion, can I tell which costs more, AX and BY? Can I tell which costs more? This is where most of you might have committed the mistake. I cannot use the statement from statement 1. I cannot use any information from statement 1. I have to only use statement 2. So statement 2 and question statement ఇది చెప్తుంది నాన్న మనకి. Okay. So on the basis of this, it depends on A and B also. So statement 2 alone cannot give me the answer. So option B is also ruled out. Is this point clear with all of us? Now my job is to merge both of them. Now when I merge both of them, let me just plainly replace Y in terms of this. If I replace Y here, let me say equal to. So 24 into 4 by 3X is how much, guys? 3 ones are 3 eights are, which is 32X. Okay. If Y is greater than 4 by 3X, can I say 24Y will be greater than 32X? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. So box A has 32X as the cost. And box B, I know, has a value which is greater than 32X. So can I say box B will cost more? So therefore, I can answer the question with the help of both the statements together. Both the statements together, which means my answer becomes option C. So anybody who has given option C is correct. Can I proceed? Quick responses. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. Great. Let's solve the next question, please. Yeah. Can we solve this question? Just 1 second. Yeah. Let's solve this. Take a minute. Anybody who has a doubt can type a message on the chat box, please. Lot of you are giving the option is option D. Okay, let's see. 30 seconds, guys. Yeah, let's solve this question, please. So let's see. Either we are assuming things wrong or where we are going wrong. Let's see. Is x divisible by 12? Now always remember, for the numerator to be divisible by the denominator, factorize the denominator. 12 can be written as 2 into 2 into 3. If the numerator has every factor with the denominator, then I can say numerator is exactly divisible by denominator. Clear? So if I'm telling about the product of three consecutive numbers, which means they should give me a minimum, let's say 2x into 2y into 3z. If the numerator is in this form, minimum possible, then irrespective of x, y, and z, I can say the number is exactly divisible by the denominator. Is this point clear? Everybody? Fair enough. Now, product of three consecutive positive integers. Positive integers start from 1. If I take 1 into 2 into 3, is it divisible by 12? No. If I take 2 into 3 into 4, is it divisible by 12? Yes. So understand. In one example, you get no, it is not divisible. In another example, you got yes, which is divisible, which means with the help of statement 1, I cannot get a unique answer. Some values will no only, some values will yes only. Is this point clear? So statement 1 alone is not sufficient. I cannot answer with the help of statement 1 alone. Clear? Now let's go to statement 2 alone. X is a product of three consecutive even integers. Now, what are even numbers? Even numbers are in the form of 2k here. See, if you want to go mathematically, this becomes your logic, okay? It won't take too much of time. If even numbers are in the form of 2k, my first even number is 2k. Consecutive even numbers, the gap is always 2. So second even number becomes 2k plus 2. My third even number becomes 2k plus 4. Clear? Right? Either you go ahead on these lines, take 2 common and blah, 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 blah. Or the other way around is, when I'm saying three consecutive even numbers, think of this, 2 into 4 into 6. Then you have 4 into 6 into 8. Then you have 6 into 8 into 10. Then you have 8 into 10 into 12. So first of all, you have a 2 common in all the three of them. But you are seeing that there is a multiple of 3 here. There is another multiple of 3 here. There is a multiple of 3 here. There is a multiple of 3 here. So when you are multiplying three consecutive even numbers, there's definitely a multiple of 3. And there are also multiples of 2. So in a way, this is nothing but 2 into 2 into 2 into something. So every such combination is definitely divisible by 12. Clear? So I can answer my question with the help of statement 2 alone and not statement 1. So therefore, my answer in this question is option B. A lot of you went ahead with both of them are required, which is not even required. Clear? Can I proceed? Let's solve this, please. Very lovely question again. Very easy too. Great. ACD. Okay. Why is there a confusion on A and C? Both of them are required or only one is required? What is the value of Y? That means the question is asking us only one value of Y. Okay. Now the question is asking us only one value of Y. So let's see what is happening. Statement 1 alone. Statement 1 alone says Y square is equal to 25. If Y square is equal to 25, Y is equal to plus 5 or minus 5. Can I talk about one value of Y from here? No. So statement 1 alone is not sufficient to give me the answer. Clear? Let's look at statement 2 alone. Statement 2 alone says Y is less than 6. Now please understand, if I'm saying that Y is less than 6, from negative infinity to 6, any value on this planet can be taken by Y. Clear? So the range here becomes negative infinity to 6 circular brackets. Which means statement 2 alone is also not sufficient to give me the answer. I think option 1 poindi, option 2 kuda poindi, and option D is also gone. Don't laugh at my Telugu. Okay? Clear? Now, my job is when I have two crosses, I have to merge both of them. When I merge both of them, then what do I get? One part says Y is less than 6. First one says plus 5 or minus 5. That means plus 5 is here and minus 5 is here. So intersection of both of them, combining both of them, I get Y will be either plus 5 or minus 6, which means even after combining, I'm not able to get my answer, Vandana. Clear? If even after combining, I'm not able to get my answer, C is off. A lot of you are saying C, which is not the right answer. My answer is going to be option E. Clear, guys? These are the questions you should be cracking in 1.5 to 2 minutes each. Because remember, this comes in first section. In first section, you have 25 minutes and you have 15 questions. Okay, so you have to be a little careful there. So try to be a little fast, but a little accurate also. Let's move to the next question, please. No, it's the dead easiest question of today. Very easy. 1 minute. Yes, each can answer independently. Yeah, very easy question, guys. Average. What is the formula of average? Average is equal to sum total divided by number of terms. So if A is equal to 5 and statement 1 says A is the average, which means 5 is equal to 5 plus B plus C divided by 3. So when you cross multiply, you get 10 is equal to B plus C, which means statement 1 is able to give me the value of B plus C. Statement 2 says A common, B plus C is equal to 10. Now A is equal to 5 is given in the question statement. So this is 5 into B plus C is equal to 10. So from statement 2 alone also I'm able to get the value of B plus C. Clear? So statement 1 is able to give me the answer and statement 2 is also able to give me the answer. Therefore my answer here becomes option D for Delhi. Clear? Moving forward a little faster. Ratios based. Don't commit a mistake now. DEC. Okay. I'm just waiting. Fair enough. What is the difference between the marks of X and E? Okay, the ratio of the marks is 8:9, which means X has 8K and E has 9K, which means according to this, the difference is equal to K. So statement 1 alone is not able to give me the answer. X has more marks than E. If X has more marks than E, which means maybe then, okay, their marks are in the ratio of 8:9. It can be 8K, 9K, or it can be 9K and 8K. Do not get confused here, okay? Statement 1 gives me both the possibilities because it did not tell you that ratio of X and E is 9:8:9. But yeah, in both the cases, the difference is K. Since I do not know the value of K, statement 1 alone cannot give me the answer. Statement 2, X scored more marks than E. Nothing can be told. I'm just told that X is greater than. So statement 2 also cannot tell me the answer. When I club both of them, I get X is 9K and E is 8K and 9K minus 8K. Even in that case, the difference is K and we do not know the value of K. So clubbing both of them also has not given me the answer. Therefore, my answer here becomes option E. Clear, guys? Moving forward. Yep. So the next one is the logical reasoning set, a very lovely logical reasoning set. Okay. Yeah, I'll be giving you 10 minutes to solve it, not more than 10 minutes. I repeat, the watch says 11:20. Okay. Take good 10 minutes, solve this set. And if I see a majority of you are able to answer before less than 10 minutes, we'll be able to solve it at that time only. So I would say approximate time to solve will be somewhere around 8 to 10 minutes. I will pause the recording also. Okay. I'll pause the recording and once we restart, we'll start the recording and we'll discuss that. Clear, guys? Instructions. So 8 to 10 minutes for next question. I'm signing off. Switching off the camera. You take 8 to 10 minutes and then we'll be discussing it in some time. Please type in your answers, guys, once you are done. We have 2 more minutes to solve. Give me all the 4 answers, Sanjana. Should not be difficult, Amma. Quick, very less answers. Come on. Guys, give me all the 3. Praveen, comma పెట్టేసి type చేసేరా. Yeah, Bhavya gave all the four. Siddharth. Okay, glad. Now people have given all the four. Let's discuss. A few of you have given all the four. Now in data interpretation, you need not decode the whole data for certain questions. Amma. Remember this thing very clearly. Okay. So you can approach question by question also. So the answers, the right options are B, B. I guess it's yeah B, B, C, D are the correct answers. Now let's discuss this. Now, if 40% of female, so what is given to us? Let's try to understand. The following bar graph represents number of people in the villages A, B, C, D, E, F, and the tabular column depicts the ratio of literate and illiterate and percentage of males in those villages. Okay. So if I decode this, so I have 750 as a population of each of A and 2000 as population of B and so on, so on, so on. Okay. Now, if you look at the question statement, if 40% of female from village B, and then the question is talking about village B. So let's decode only village B, no? If village B has 65% males, now what is 65%? This will be 65% of 2000 only. Now what is 65% of 2000? Total males are 1300, total females will be 700. That is 35% of 2000. Okay, next. Now 11 is to 9 is the ratio of literate is to literate. So 11 by 20 of 2000 will be literate population, which is how much? 1100, and this will be 900. Now 40% of the females from village B. So that is 40% of 780. Sorry, 700. Logic is quite simple, guys. What is 10% of 700? Now 10% of 700 is 70. So 40%, I multiply the left hand side by 4, I multiply my right hand side by 4. That means out of the total literate population, or let's say if I break my females into two parts. So the number of females who are literates will be 70 into 4. 70 into 4, which means you have 280 literate females. Okay. Now, what percentage of male who is illiterate from B? So, if 280 are literate, so can I say female illiterates will be remaining 7? So, this is 20. 420 are female illiterates. Now, if I divide 1100 into male literates and female literates, and this 900 will be male illiterates and female illiterates. Okay. So female illiterates are 420. So what are the male illiterates? Male illiterates will be 80. That is 500. 480 will be male illiterates. This is what you got? Everybody? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. Now, the question says what percentage of the males are illiterate, which means I want male illiterate, MIL, okay, divided by total males into 100. So your answer becomes 480 by 1300 into 100. 0000 gets cancelled. 13 into 3 is 39. Then you have a 90. Clear? 13 sevens is 91. So therefore your answer becomes option B. So first one is B. Second one, what percentage of literate population is there in all the 6 villages together? This is very easy. You just divide 750 into 5 parts. 2 plus 3 is 5 because you understand here. Literates will be 2 by 5 of 750. So I divide 750 into 5 parts. That will give me how much? 150. So 2 into 150 becomes 300. Now 11 plus 9 is equal to 20. If I'm dividing 2000 into 20 parts, so one part will be how much? 100. So 11 parts will be 1100. Dividing 1500 into 15 parts. So one part is again 100. So 13 parts will be 1300. 2750. Clear? 2750 into 5 parts. So you need to understand this is where it's taking a lot of time. Okay. 2750 into 5 parts will be how much? 5 5s are again 550. 550 into 4. 550 into 4 can be written as 500 plus 50 into 4. That's 2000 plus 200, which is 2200. Now 2500 I'm dividing in 4 parts. 4 into 6 625. And 3000 I'm dividing into 30 parts, that is 100. So 11 part will be again 1100. Let's be very smart enough to calculate. 1100 plus 1100 is 2200. 2200 plus 2200 is 4400. 4400 plus 1300, 57. 57 plus 3, 6000. 6625 out of what is the total population? 3000 plus 2000 is 5000. 1500 plus 2500 is 4000. 4000 plus 5000 is 9000. 2750 plus 750. That is 3500. So 12500 into that becomes your answer. Clear? So nothing more. It's just requiring a lot of calculation skills, guys. Clear? You can cancel by 25 each one of them. Need not cancel by 5 two times. Instead, cancel by 25. 25 5s are 25 2s are 50. You have how much? 162. 25 6 are 150 and then 125 6. This is 5 5s are and 15 53. So 53 becomes your answer. What's the ratio now? If you have the complete table, this becomes very easy for you to calculate. What is the ratio between the number of illiterate people from villages B, C, and D to number of females from A, E, and F? So once you have done this exercise, we can fill this part directly. So illiterate from B, C, and D. That's 1100 plus 550. That is 1650. Sorry, illiterate, right? Yeah, 1650. And the number of females from A, E, F, A, E, and F. So 360 plus this gives me how much? 1110. 1110 plus 1525. So this is 5, this is 3, this is 6, this is 2. This becomes your final value. So you can cancel. This is 5 into 3, 130. 330, I think there's only one option. And this is 5 5s, then 5 2s, and 5 7s. So option C becomes your answer. Clear, guys? Last question of the set. So 20% of female from village D. What is village D? 825. Now 20%, remember 20% can be written as 20 by 100, which is 1 by 5. Now 1 by 5 of 825. 5 ones are 5, 32, 5 6 are 30, 165. And 20% from village E. Again, you can use 1 by 5 of it. So 1525 by 5, that becomes 305. Are literate. Then find the number of literates of D and F together. So can we calculate this? Any doubts here, guys, in this question? You want me to solve or you want me to skip? Solve, skip. Quick responses, guys. You want me to solve or you want me to skip? Skip. Fine. Let's enter into quant then. They're very easy, just calculation based, guys. Let's solve a very interesting question. We are moving into mathematical ability. So we have around 8 to 10 questions and then we'll wind up the session. Take 1 minute and solve this, please. Quick answers. Answering B. Let's see this question, guys. What does this question talk about? A very interesting question, okay? So this question says that a store has X kgs of rice. The first customer buys half of this amount plus half kg of rice, okay? The second buys half of the remaining amount plus half kg of rice. And the third, so understand here. So if this guy had 2x, try to take 2x, okay? The first customer buys X, okay, half of this amount plus half kg of rice. This is what the customer bought. So 2x minus of this will be remaining, right? So if I subtract this of the remaining, then what do I get? I get x minus 1 by 2. This is remaining. Now, you know, the best part to go ahead with this is, let me assume this is equal to 2y. So the second customer again repeats the same thing, x plus y plus 1 by 2. So remaining will be y minus half. Now what you can do is you can again assume this as 2z. Clear? So third customer has 2z, he buys z plus half, and finally remaining will be z minus. Now, as per the question, no rice is left. This becomes a very easy way of understanding. Now, please understand, instead of x, you have taken 2x. Don't get confused. If z minus half is equal to 0, I can say z is equal to 0.5. If z is equal to 0.5, now 2 into 0.5 will give you 1. Okay? Which means y will be how much? Y will be equal to 1.5. If y is equal to 1.5, 2 into 1.5 becomes 3. So z will be equal to 3.5. If z is equal, sorry, x is equal to 3.5. If x is equal to 3.5, we started with how much? 2x. That becomes 2 into 3.5. So therefore, the final value becomes 7. Let's which of the following best describes the value of x? Option B describes the best value of x. Now, whenever you have questions in layers, the best way to do is go backwards and you'll get your answers. Don't try to take formulas, fraction. Not required. You can do one more thing if you want to go by one variable concept only. What is the other thing we can also do? Instead of x, you can take, since c, understand here, this is being divided 3 times into half. You can also assume the total value as 8x or 8k. Is this method clear, guys? Quick responses so that I'll explain you the 8k wala method. Is this method clear? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I'll explain you 8k. See, understand, dividing by 2 first time, then again dividing by 2. So 2 by 2 becomes 4. Again dividing by 2, that becomes 8. So what I would also advise you is, sometimes smartly take the value of x as 8x. Now, how much did this guy buy? This guy bought half of this and half kg. Which means remaining is how much? Or you can use 1 by 2. So remaining is 4x minus 1 by 2. Okay. Now, if I have 4x minus 1 by 2, what did this guy do? This guy bought half of this. So half of 4x, he bought 2x. Clear? And half of half, that means minus 1 by 4. This is what he bought. So if I subtract these two, what do I get? I can write this as 2 by 4. So 4x, this becomes 2x minus 2 by 4 and minus 1 by 4. This becomes minus 3 by 4. Clear? Now if I have 2x minus 3 by 4, now this guy bought half. Sorry, my bad. 1 second, guys. I have to add another half kilo also, no? Half of this plus a half kilo. So what will this turn out to be? So this minus of this. So let me turn this as into 2 into 2. And let me convert this as into 2 into 2. So 4x minus 2x will give you 2x. Minus 1 by 4, minus 2 by 4. Plus 1 by 4. So this is like this, guys. Minus 2 by 4, minus into minus becomes plus 1 by 4. And this is again minus 2 by 4. A bit of calculation, okay? Minus 4 by 4 plus 1 by 4, which will give you minus 3 by 4. Okay, now this guy bought half of this. This is 3 by 8 plus another half kilo. And this minus this is equal to 0, but still becomes a bit lengthier method. Right? But my advice will be simple. If you have different layers, the one that we followed, is equal to 2y, same process, is equal to 2z, same process. Go backward and calculate. Clear? Let's solve this, please. Speed, time, and distance question. You have given the right answer. Let's solve this. Now, Anita goes to college at 20 kilometers an hour. So, speed, time, and distance, very basic question. Okay. She reaches her college 4 minutes late. Okay. Next time she goes at 25 kilometers an hour and reaches her college 2 minutes earlier than scheduled time. What is the easiest way to solve this question? It's a standard model which is also taught in CAT, guys. Okay. So, when she's traveling at 20 kilometers an hour, suppose this is her usual time to reach her college. And when she's traveling at 20 kilometers an hour, that means she's taking 4 minutes more than the usual time. And when she's traveling at 25 kilometers an hour, she is taking 2 minutes earlier than the usual time. Okay. So can I say the difference of time taken? The difference of time taken is 6 minutes. Is this point clear with all of us? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Great. So difference of time taken. Now what is time? I know that speed is equal to distance into time. Sorry, distance is equal to speed into time. So what do I have here? So we have time is equal to distance by speed. So distance is d. When he's traveling at 20, he will take more time. Minus distance by 25. Now this time, now understand, in speed, time, and distance, units have to be same. If speed is in kilometers per hour, then time has to be in hours and distance has to be in kilometers. So the difference of time is 6 minutes. I have to convert in the form of hours. 20 and 25, you can take what? 100 as the LCM or 50 also if you want. Okay, 100. Now this is 5d minus 4d is equal to 1 by 10. 0, 0 gets cancelled, or the value of d is equal to 10 kilometers. So remember one thing, guys, whenever you see a question on speed, time, and distance, the first things first, make the units same or uniform. Okay, once the units are uniform, then you can move ahead and solve the question. Moving to the next one, guys. Time and distance. Take a minute and solve. Work. Very interesting question. Leak model. Guys, most of you gave option B as the correct answer. Some of you gave C as well. Okay. So a pipe can fill a tank in 24 hours. So what we do is basically, I follow an LCM model of time and work here. If a pipe can fill a tank in 24 hours, what we can do is we can assume the capacity of the tank to be, let's say, 24 liters or 24 units. Clear? A leak which is at 2/3 of the height of the tank. Okay. 2/3. So if I'm assuming that the total capacity is 24, that means 2/3, which means what is 2/3 of 24? 3/8. So that is 16. There's a leak tap here. And the top capacity is 8 units. Okay. Now, can empty up to that part, which means the leak tap can empty. I repeat, leak tap can empty 8 units in how many hours? 4 hours. If they can empty 8 units in 4 hours, can I say to empty the whole tank? That is 24 units. The leak tap will take how many hours, guys? The leak tap will take 12 hours. Clear, guys? Now, if the total work is 24 units, R is the work done per minute or per hour, which is efficiency, guys. Okay. 24 hours low, 24 units. So can I say 1 hour low, 1 unit?
Yeah.
Similarly, 12 hours low, 24 units, which means 1 hour low, how many units? 2 units, but this is a leak tap, so there's a -2 to be attached here. So if both of them are opened simultaneously, which means what is happening? The tap effectively only 1 unit is being filled per hour. Okay. Now what is the question asking you? If the initially the tank is full, that is 24 units if the tank is full. Clear? By when will it be 2/3 full? That means I have to leak out 8 units. Every hour, 1 unit is being leaked out. So 8 units will be leaked out in 8 into 8 divided by -1. That is 8 hours. And therefore your answer becomes option B. Does this point clear, guys? So LCM model makes your job pretty easy here. So instead of going by fractions, if you go by LCM, the job becomes very easy with lovely numbers altogether. Any doubts here? Quick responses? Great. Let's solve this. Very interesting question on averages, which had appeared, I guess, last but 1 year. Very interesting question. Okay, it says A cannot be determined. Okay. D, okay, some people are saying D, some people are saying A. Last 30 seconds, guys. Now, please remember this, guys. The answer is D if the question is asking you the exact value of the average. If you look at the option says that the new average is higher or new average is lower or the new average is same. Now, the logic says simple here. If my existing average is 43, okay, if I add a number which is greater than 43, right? If I add a number which is greater than 43, then my new average will be greater than the old average. Let's take a small example. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say 5. Okay. So what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is 15. 15 by 5, that is 3 is the average. Okay. For this series, the average is 3. What is sum total? Sum total is 15. Now, suppose I add only 1 to this number. If I add only 1 to this number, what does this become? This becomes 15 plus 1, 16 by 6. Now, what is happening? 15 by 16 by 6 is how much? 16 by 6 is going to be less than 3. 2 point something. Similarly, if you add 2 to this, 15 plus 2 divided by 6, 17 by 6 will also be less than 3. If you add 3 to this, 15 plus 3 is 18. 18 by 6 will be 3. Are you getting it? So the logic is quite simple. If you have average as A, this is called a deviation method. Okay, guys? The funda is quite simple. If the average is A and the addition, if the addition is equal to A, okay, then the new average will remain same. Similarly, if average is A and addition is greater than A, then my new average will also be greater than A. Okay. Similarly, if average is A and the addition is less than A, then the new average will always be less than A. So my logic is simple. If the existing average is 43, now 8 innings, I want to see how much is he adding. Okay. How much is he adding? If you look at it, there are multiple numbers given to us. So let's directly quickly add them. Okay. 96. So the best way to add is deviation method, guys. I'm getting 90 from here, 6 is pending, 1 is pending. I take 20 from here. 90 plus 20 is 110. 110 plus 60 is 170. Right? Let me add this 1 back here. 170 plus 40 is 210. Okay. Let me add this 2 here. 210 plus 50 is 260. Sorry, 210 plus 50 is 260. 260 plus 69. Bring 1 from here. That is 70. Clear? 260 plus 70 is 330. 330, then 1 is pending. 337 and plus 7. 344. This is what you got, guys, everybody? Now 344 is being added in 8 innings. Okay, which means let me look at a one stop value. Let me divide it by 8. This is 8 4s are 32, and I am adding 24. That is 43 only. Which means if the existing average was 43, you are adding a value which is equal to 43 only. Which means, can I say the new average will remain the same? If you want to go with the basic method, it's something like this. 43 into n plus 344 divided by n plus h. Okay. Now I can take 43 common. You get n plus 8 divided by n plus 8. This is equal to my new average. Right? So n plus 8 and n plus 8 gets cancelled, which means your answer is going to be 43 only. If the answer is going to be 43, which means your new average is same as the old average. So very interesting question that you can look at when you're solving questions on averages. Very simple but interesting question. Any doubts here, guys? The shortcut method is quite simple. Look at the existing average. Now, addition divided by the new number of additions. Okay, let's say this is x. If X is greater than average, then my new average will be higher. If X is less than the average, then my new average will be lower. If X is equal to the average, then my average will remain. In this case, X is equal to average, therefore average remains the same. Can we solve this question, please? 1 minute to solve. Very easy question, guys. Rohit Sharma's score in a T20 game is 4 times the average of his scores in previous 5 games. Now let's use this. If the average of his score in previous 5 games was X, then in the 6th game, he scored 4X. Clear? Now, I want to know the average after 6th game. What is the formula of average? Formula of average is equal to sum total by number of terms. I repeat, X is the average in how many matches? 5 matches. So can I say average into number of terms is equal to sum total? So I can conclude that X into 5, that means 5X was the total number of runs he scored in 5 matches. In the 6th match, he scored 4X. That means at the end of 6 matches, he scored 9X. 9X divided by 6, which will give you how much? 1.5X. So the average at the end of 5 matches was X, and the average at the end of 6th match was 1.5X, which means can I say that the question asking you percentage increase. What's the formula for percentage change? The percentage change formula you can note down is final value minus initial value by initial value into 100, which will be 1.5X minus X by X into 100, and your answer becomes 50% more. Clear? Any doubts? Please let me know where to stop, okay? I do not have a problem. I have a few more questions to continue. Shall I continue, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can we solve this question, please? How many of you know this method is called removal and replacement method? If you're preparing for CAT, you should know this method is called removal and replacement. If not, it's a very simple method. See that the logic is simple in mixtures. If you take out any amount of quantity from the solution, okay, the ratio does not change. Suppose I am saying in a jar I have 12 liters of milk and 3 liters of water, which means what is the ratio? 4:1. Suppose I'm taking out 5 liters from this jar. Now, if I take out 5 liters from the jar, those 5 liters will also be in the ratio of 4:1. That means I'm removing 4 liters from here. I'm removing 1 liter from here. How much am I left with? 8 and 2, which means this will also remain 4:1 only. So always remember, from a mixture, if I am only removing certain quantity, only removing, okay, then the ratio does not change. Is this point very clear? This is one way of looking at it. Else, the second method of looking at it is you can go by the ratios concept also. Okay. So if I go ahead with this, now 7:5 was the total initial ratio. Okay. So I would take 7x as A and 5x as B. So total was how much? 12x. I'm removing 9 from here. Please remember, 12x minus 9 will also have A and B in the ratio of 7:5 only. Okay. Now what am I doing? I'm filling this with B, which means now I'm adding only B with 9 liters. And then the question says that the final ratio becomes 7:9. Is this point clear, guys? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Now can you please solve this? So if you want a basic method of this, we can also look at this as 7/12 of 12x minus 9 divided by 5/12 of 12x minus 9 plus 9 is equal to 7/5. You can just directly write this and get your answer, which will be 21. Sorry, the value of x will be equal to 3 from here. And therefore 7x will be equal to 21. Either I can go ahead on these lines, or there's also one more method called no change component. Understand, guys? No change component says, suppose, can just look at this part of the table. If this is 7x and this is 5x, so 7x, and let's say I'm not adding any liquid A here. Are you getting it? Which means, can I say the quantity of A here should be same as the quantity of A here? Quick responses. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Right? So can I say that if this is 7x, this should become 9x? Now observe between these two. What is the gap between these two? 5x to 9x. So can I conclude from here that 4x is equal to 9? Clear? Only this part, okay? If 4x is equal to 9, then I want this value, which means 12x will be equal to how much? Let's take this as something else, okay? So 12x is equal to how much? Into 3 into 3, that is 27, and 12x minus, sorry, so 1 second guys, just 1 second. I'll just explain you once again, just 1 second, okay? If I make you understand it this way, it's like this guys. A is equal to, let's say 7k, B is equal to 5k, right? Now, I am taking out certain quantity. I am taking out 9 liters from here. That means my final quantity left out is, let's say 12k minus 9. And my initial quantity was 12k. Okay. Now this will not confuse you anywhere. Okay. Now, if this is 12k, and now the question says that from here, I know that this will be in the ratio of 7:5 only because I'm just removing. So 7:5 aithe 7x and 5x తీసుకుంటాము. Okay. I'm adding 9 liters of only B. And my final ratio is 7:9. Now this will be very clear to you. Since I'm not adding anything of A, 7x is equal to 7x, which means this value will become 9x. Clear? Right? And this is nothing but 12x. So can I say that if 4x is equal to 9, 12x will be equal to 27? Now, what is this total quantity? This total quantity is 12x. Now, this total quantity is 27, which is after removing 9 liters. Which means, can I say this quantity should become 36? If this quantity is 36, then this is going to be 7 by 12 of 36. 12 ones are 12 threes are 21 becomes your final answer. Is this point clear? Any doubts, please ask. This is called no change component. Quick responses, please. So let's do one thing, guys. Let's stop here. It's already 12:40. I think we should stop here. I just want to have a small feedback of the session. How did you find the session? Point number 1. You can just type a few words and yeah, I have feedback of the session, guys, because I need to understand, is it going online with you well, or should we think of something else? Because there are certain number of days we might have certain extra workshops as well. Right. Having said that, I'll try to see how do we ensure that we give you the logins of our institute. Let me just talk to Murthy sir and figure out. But before that, before leaving, can we just have a small feedback of the session? How was the session? Interesting, helpful? Want more of them, or anything which will help me understand the whole process? And I repeat, let's fight for the next 10-15 days so that we ensure that we are going ahead and clearing all these examinations. Questions are good. Questions are difficult as well. Will take very soon, Lakshman. It will be coming through your training and placement office only. Thank you for the feedback, guys. Yeah, so I'll just see you soon. Let me talk to Murthy sir once, because as I told you, the whole idea is when we are having these sessions on YouTube. Yes, I'll share this with you on YouTube. Don't worry. And you can watch them. You can share among your friends as well. So we have a lot more questions. Guys, I told you we have a complete product ready. So let me see how do we see that you also get that product so that you can make the most of it. This was just a volunteering session because we all know. So 10-15 days, we have to just see how does it happen then.